The 15th part of our little snake game here. What we're going to do is we're going to write the code so that if we were to accidentally collide into ourselves or run into ourselves, the game would be over. So let me just run an example of what that would look like. So far, the way we have it written is that if we were to go around and collect an apple and then we were to go off the screen, it'll display, oh, okay, it looks like you ran off the screen. That's why the game's over. But what we're also going to do today now is, and it's going to be a little hard to see this, but I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. When we go to run this, I'm going to grab an apple, okay, grab another one, and then I'm going to press the back button right now. And you see, immediately the game would be over. And this is because if I'm going to the right, okay, so if I'm going to the right and then I hit the back button, I'm actually running into myself. And so that's I also want to display that, that's why the game's over. You ran into yourself, you can't do that. And also like display the score and everything else, right? So the way we're going to do that now is we're going to come here to our program and we're gonna go and put this inside of the snake class. So you'll notice that we're not really putting anything in the main program. We're gonna focus everything and put all the functions or methods inside of our snake class, and then just call them as we need them. So we'll go down. This is our snake boundary. We'll go down to right here, okay, where it says track the snake coordinates, because ideally we're going to be looking at the coordinates to see if any coordinates are the same, and if they are the same, that's how we know that there's been a collision, right? So it's increasing incrementally. If you go back, that means that the position of the head of the snake, right? If I'm going this way, right, this is the head of the snake. If I were to go back and compare the head of the snake with the coordinate before that, if they were equal to each other, then I know that I ran into myself or I went backwards, right? So here we have the regular code to get that, and we're just going to add down here. Okay, so we're inside of this track snake coordinates method here. If the snake runs into itself, and we're going to write the code first, and then I'll try to explain it in a separate area. So we'll say if, okay, and actually I'm sorry, not if. We're gonna go through a loop first. So for now, we can use any variable that we want, but if I feel like if I just use I, you wouldn't really see what it is that I'm trying to do. So I'm gonna say each segment. Okay, now each segment is going to be the our like I iteration variable that goes through each thing in the list, each element in the list. So for each segment in self dot, now we're going to be looking at the snake list, since this is going to have all of the coordinates that make up the snake, right? Remember, we whatever the snake size is, that's what we display to the screen. So if there are 5 elements in that list, we display a length of 5. So for each segment in self.snake list, okay, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add everything up until the first element, because remember, in whichever direction he's going, the head of the snake is always at the end. It's always the last element that was appended in our list. So if we compare the entire list, then we're going to get an instant an instant false. I'm losing the words right now, but essentially the game will be over immediately, because we need to look at everything up until the head of the snake. And again, I'll show you everything. So I'm going to use this. This means look at everything up until the first or the last element, I should say. Sorry about that. If each segment is equal to snake coordinate, so snake underscore coord, okay, remember that this is the list that we're going to use to temporarily hold the x and the y value, but every time or every frame this is getting erased into an empty list, so it's going to hold it for a split second and then add it to the list, right? So if each segment is equal to snake coordinate, then we'll say self.gameOver is equal to true. And what we'll also do is we're going to call upon this replay game. Okay, so we're going to still want to actually use if they want to replay the game. I'm going to copy everything here so that I know what I have to pass. So I'm going to come here, and our message will be, looks like you ran into yourself. All right, We'll still pass the score. I mean, this will be self.score. Game over, and so this would be self.game over and self.game exit, because these are inside of the class and we're passing that to a different function outside of the class. Cool. So now if we were to run this, invalid syntax, that's awesome. Oh, no colon at the end. Okay, that must have came when I was copying and pasting it. All right, so let's see. Grabbing a snake. Okay, if I go backwards now, right now it's hard to see it on my screen that I'm going backwards, but it did say it looks like you ran into yourself because I hit backwards on our stuff. Okay, you should, and I would absolutely encourage you to try that on your own. Make sure it works. Check out that all the code's correct. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm going to bring us over here, and I'm going to try to explain what's happening. All right, so if we have a snake, it looks like this, right? If we're moving to the right, that means our x values, okay, these are the x values right here. These x values are going to be increasing, okay? Our y values are going to be staying the same because we're going horizontally. That makes sense. All right, so now from the previous iteration, this would be the head of the snake. And these coordinates are 330, 300, and this is where we're adding right now, like in our snake coordinate list. Now, if you don't really fully understand this yet, I'm going to go ahead and just say that if we were to continue, right? So let's say that we were to continue and going into the right direction, the next iteration would then be 340, 300. Okay, right, because I'm going to the right. So the way that this piece works again is it clears out the list. Now it's empty. So this, now I'm going to attach the X. So this would be snake chord would then equal 340. I'm attaching on that X. Then I'm going to attach on the Y. So this is now my list would look like this. COORD equals 340, 300. Okay. And then finally, after that, we're going to append to the end, right? That's what append does to the end of the list. We're going to append this entire piece. So this whole piece gets appended to the snake list. And more importantly, what I should really do is let's say that this was the snake list right here. Okay, I'm literally appending now 340, 300 at the end. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, I'm gonna go to the next page now. Now remember that our snake coordinate, okay, from what we just did in the previous one, our snake coordinate was 340, 300. So I just wrote that here again. Oops, sorry about that. Right, 340, 300. And the end of the snake, which is because we were appending it, this 340, 300 went here. So now let's try to go through this, okay? This is saying now, for each element, each segment, and this is going to be our a temporary variable that's going to go through each one. For each segment in self.snakeList, okay, this means ignore. Oh, I shouldn't say ignore because that's definitely not correct. Up until, I think about it in my head like that, up until the last element. So everything except the last element, okay? So essentially just from here all the way to right here, okay? Not this. If each segment, okay, now that's, remember that this is it's looping through each one. So if, like, for example, if this one is equal to this one, then game over is true. Now this is not the same. Great. Next iteration. Is this the same as that? No. Okay. Is this the same as that? No. Now here's the last one. Is this the same as this? No. So that means that there's no collision. Everything's working properly fine. Continue playing your game. Okay. If, however, we were to continue this snake now, okay, on the next screen, let's say that we were to, like, we're going, we're going to go ahead and go forward, and then we decide go back. That's what this piece would look like, okay? So the snake was originally here, right? Then we go back. All right, so now it's here. Now, what is this coordinate going to be? So before it was this was going to be 340. So let me see if do I have this here? I think I do have this here, right here. Okay, so we have our 310, 320, 330, 340. That was the one that we just dealt with. Now, if we go backwards, we're going to be at 330. So just really quickly, this would be 330, 300. Okay, I'm appending on 300, so I'm just gonna go through this. If you understand this, you can probably skip through like 30 seconds. All right, equals 330. Okay, then this little list here, like this temporary list to hold the values or coordinates, and then we attach this on right here at the end. Now, if we were to look at our code, let me just go back here. Maybe I can move this over a little bit. All right, so let's see. It should change itself so that we can see it. All right, let's see now. So we're here now, and we're gonna look at this piece. All right. For each segment in self.snake list, so this is our new updated list, okay? And we're not looking at this last one, so we're not looking here. We're looking at everything from this red and backwards, because the up to the negative first or the last element. If each segment, so remember we're looping through here and we're comparing this, okay, to the snake chord. So that's where it says is if each segment is equal to the snake chord. So if this is equal to this, then it's game over. So no, it's good. This is not the same as this. Good. It comes here now, and it compares the two, and it's like, oh, that's the same. So that means that you must have either ran into yourself somewhere in the body, or you must have hit the back button, right? Probably by accident, but there's been some type of collision. Make self.game over to be true, call the replay game function, and the message that we're gonna send is gonna be, looks like you ran into yourself. We're passing the score, which we did in a different video, the game over, the game exit, and then that's why that would work. Okay, so I hope that this has been a little helpful in understanding how these little 3 lines of code works. Okay, or rather 4 lines of code works. If you understand this, or if you thought that this was a good video, please give it a thumbs up. Looking forward to see you guys in the next video. Bye.